Hi, this is Lacey. I'm in Lisbon, Portugal at the Web Summit, and I wanted to share a few highlights from the first full day of content. I did go to quite a few sessions. There's different tracks, and so I've spent quite a bit of the day in the Corporate Innovation Summit and heard some well-known companies speak like SAP, DHL. So keeping it in the German theme, a company called CI&T. IDEO, so the CMO from the US spoke. There's, sustainability is a huge topic right now. Unfortunately, content's been quite vague, I think, but you heard people speak from Shell, Databricks, Kongsberg, and a few others. I went to one of the Siemens deep dives on industrial cloud. Probably my favorite session so far, set of sessions has been a session or a room that's been hosted by Near Protocol. Sort of the way that the conference is set up is there's one big center stage, but then in there's 4 pavilions, and in those pavilions in the center there are a lot of booths like you would typically see in a big expo, but in the corners there are some really cleverly lit and soundproofed sections that still are part of the main pavilion area, but have speakers on those stages that are organized around different themes and content. And those tend to be what you often see at a conference. So talking about lots of new themes and buzzwords. So Matt and I will probably have a clip just with all of the new buzzwords that you might want to look up and see what they're about. And then there's also an area where there's some more deep dives, training longer sessions on some tech content. So I really enjoyed the second, the content in the second format. The experience in the first format is cool, quite cool, and there's interesting people speaking. But so the time that I spent in the second format was hosted by Near Protocol, which is a new. Okay, coming back, because these are new concepts for me, so I'm going to read it off the website to you. Near Protocol is a decentralized application platform and Ethereum competitor that focuses on developer and user friendliness. Native Near tokens are used to pay for transaction fees and storage on the Near crypto platform. So it's essentially a ETH competitor, but it's they're sort of course they hosted the room, so definitely biased, but it seems like they're building up an ecosystem of developers who are trying to make blockchain, NFTs, and crypto and everything around web3. So this is, web3 is sort of the theme here, more accessible to non-developers, so to artists, to a lot of the people that you'd expect to use blockchain and NFTs in particular. In the use cases that are usually put forward for NFTs. So it was really cool. There were two sessions that I went to. The first one was a developer showing real time developing a rank-based voting application, and so he kind of showed some of the different packages that are available to develop an application on Near Protocol, and also kind of got people to log in, create a user account, which I think was nice for them, and then also showed some of the architecture, which was pretty interesting, thinking about how do you use data on blockchain and that sort of thing. So that was cool. I mean, I probably understood 50% at most of what he shared, but it was cool kind of just to get rapidly exposed to that content. People in the room were interesting, so a lot younger audience. I think a lot of developers, people from all over the world, all over Europe in that room, compared to, in some of the other forums that might have had a more older corporate audience. So really cool. I'm hoping to. I think because Near Protocol does seem like it has a good community around it, and it seems pretty accessible, I might actually try to develop an app and even mint an NFT. So that goes into the second session that I went to. But yeah, so overall seems like a cool community of users. Hard to say if it's gonna, you know, stay alive in the long run and be a long-term competitor to ETH or some other blockchain or crypto players. So then the second session in that same room was delivered by a startup called Satori. So Satori is a product that's built entirely on Near protocol, and they've essentially developed an abstraction layer to make it really easy for artists or somebody like me to mint an NFT. So I have to, it was, a quick session. I'll have to read more about what exactly that abstraction layer includes, but I think there are some like APIs, applications, and other assets that essentially make it really, the example they gave is like an artist could copy and paste a snippet of code from one of the Satori platforms or tools, paste that into their e-commerce site, and sell an NFT to someone who doesn't have a wallet yet or hasn't signed up for the blockchain, sell that alongside their physical goods. So really cool, kind of a cool new concept, making blockchain, which is supposed to be decentralized and give cut out middlemen in a lot of transactions, but maybe particularly when it comes to NFTs, some of the initial use cases have been around artists, musicians, etc., and actually giving those people access to that technology without becoming developers. One question that came up in the audience was, okay, great, are you really a DAO? So for those of us, and I include myself in this category, who are new to Web3 and still learning, DAO is decentralized, I'm looking it up on my phone now, decentralized autonomous organization, I think. Yeah, got it. And so essentially the idea is that in Web3, applications and data won't be hosted by one entity or even a for-profit, like a company like Amazon, but they'll actually be, just like the blockchain is, decentralized across a lot of different players. And so it sounds like, at least right now, Near and Satori are not, so their application and the data is not decentralized across a lot of different players, but the architecture that they've developed makes it so that they could, when that infrastructure setup becomes a reality, they could decentralize. So it sounds like they have some like distributed hash tables and some other attributes that would make them, I guess, realize the vision of Web3. So yeah, it was cool. It's definitely, it's interesting because it's a topic that I haven't played with a lot. I'm sure a lot of our clients are not in a position to start thinking about probably the outer reaches of the vision of Web3, but there's definitely a lot of young people, young developers who are excited about this topic, who are learning how to develop this kind of technology, and I'm sure it'll be a topic that could become a reality for some of our clients, in the next years. So good topic to stay on top of, and maybe you guys can also mint your first NFT with Satori.